From a investment potential, this has increased our footprint and the opportunity that we have. We started off only with 3,000 odd hectares in our total area, and we only had about 20 square kilometers of dome in our original license. With this newly acquired license, we've now gone up to a license area of just shy of 20,000 hectares, and we cover the entire Eureka dome, which is 56 square kilometers. So all of a sudden, we have a lot more targets that we can start generating and building, and that gives us a lot more area to work in.
I think it's important for us to also realize that, if you just go back to that for 1 second there, Chris, like this is the natural resource industry from an investment perspective it is a more speculative industry. It does have higher risk in the sense that you can look for mineralization and not find it, or not find it in the way that you want. As well, the opportunity when you're in natural resources for return on investment is quite high. It has a higher risk, but a higher return opportunity, which is great. But you cannot diminish the fact that it is still a higher risk investment. What this approach has done, and the reason why we wanted to add the EPL 8748, and the reason why we're doing the work to evaluate each of these 17, is to essentially give us more shots on goal. And when you think about the risk-reward relationship, and all good investors are always thinking about what level of risk do I want to take for what potential return. In this case, we've just identified with our recent findings, and Chris is going to obviously have a quick chat about this as well as we go forward, but we've added a new drill-ready target, which has been factored on by a number of results that we've gotten back. But the approach that we've taken in total to ETEC is to give us more opportunities. Adding the 8748, which is about 175% more dome, is potentially going to give us even more targets than the 17 targets that we have. And we're not saying that we're going to have each one of those 17 targets is going to be drill ready, but they certainly, they're certainly showing the beginnings of those signs based on the 4 characteristics we talked about earlier. And as we continue to do more of this groundwork, we're going to determine that hopefully it's not just zones 1 through 4 and our target 9, but hopefully there'll be more targets that will identify themselves as drill ready. And with this large addition to the dome that we now have access to, or will have access to once we get our environmental certificate, gives the company and our investors now more opportunities to hit that to hit our objective and to realize commercial mineralization, so that the return is there. So the risk remains the same, but with more shots on goal, you actually reduce your risk by just giving yourself more opportunities. So from an investment perspective, we think this is turning a nice corner here, and giving our existing investors plus new investors, a more interesting look at this at ETEC.
And from an exploration perspective, we've spoken about the XRF a couple of times, but specifically with the announcement of our prospecting results a week ago, and then the recent soil announcements of our new target 9, our technical team's ability to conduct successful exploration in an area that generally has very limited exposure is definitely a game changer for our company. And we're continually developing new targets throughout the Eureka dome. And what we've demonstrated with these results that we've been announcing is that this Eureka dome has the potential to be extremely well endowed with REE mineralization. And us continually finding occurrences with rock grab with subcropping samples, as you can see on the left-hand side of the page there, with the same style monazite, simple monazite. We're looking for the same unique selling points that we had in our original Zone 1 deposit, where it's a simple monomineralic deposit with easily to extract a high-value product. And now we have continued success in identifying new areas. And we're definitely starting to get attention from some industry leaders And we're continuing those conversations with various academics as well as seniors in our industry. And these results, as well as some of the work that we've done previously, validates that the potential for the Eureka dome is immense. What you see on your page here is you can clearly see there's an outline of the dome that is interpreted from structural as well as satellite imagery. On the backdrop there, you have the government airborne and radiometric survey. So it's a regional survey, extremely broadly spaced, and you can't really tell much from it. We do apply a bit of a filter here to highlight thorium. We use thorium as a target generator because thorium is associated with monazite. And nothing really jumps out at us. And you can see we've left our 17 targets on the page, as well as you can see our original zone 1 zone deposits there. And they're not screaming. The company then conducted a very high detailed, high definition radiometric survey, and Greg Simmons and his team here really worked with us. They added a 1.5 liter, I stand on the correction, I think it's either a 1 or 1.5 liter crystal. A bigger crystal allows for deeper penetration and radiometric signatures, and we mounted it to a quad mic, and we've got this data there afterwards, and that allowed us, with a bit of filtering as well, to highlight these areas of interest. And it demonstrates this high definition against the regional one, how better or how easier it is to highlight targets and then allow us to go straight to targets. So the value of that obviously is the cost of exploration is expensive. We don't want to be walking around 20,000 hectares like lost chickens. So we are trying to focus down into our exploration.
And Chris, just to go back just for 1 second, I know we've talked about that XRF before, and we've talked about how it plays into our plans and the information we get back. But it's an invaluable tool for us. And the kind of ability it allows us to be able to do things that otherwise we really truly wouldn't be able to do. I think everybody is aware that assay results since COVID have been delayed, and rare earth assays in many ways are often even slower. We still wait on assays and have waited since we began work with ETech longer than we would like to get our wet assays back. When we talk about the soils activity and redefining these 17 targets and trying to determine exactly which ones are the better target, how to prioritize them, which one is a shot on goal and which one is not, the XRF is providing us with immediate, high volume feedback that we would not be able to get without that. And I would suggest that the company, I think all of us in the company feel that we are moving forward at a really interesting pace, and we're really interested at how it's really interesting how the opportunity continues to present itself. But I would say the XRF in particular is a phenomenal tool of being able to drive that feedback back to the geo team and help us define these targets or shots on goal much better.
So just skipping through, and I'm going to add some wording to this, but this is a satellite image. We have our original EPL 6762 there in the black outline. We have the newly acquired EPL 8748 in the purple. And what you can clearly see there is that there's a clear feature that is outlined as the Eureka dome. This is a geographical feature, and due to the field work that we've been able to conduct, we have got quite a lot of structural information as well as geological mapping information across our portion of the dome, and that's given us a lot of confidence into its role that it plays into hosting carbonatite emplacement and potentially REE mineralization thereafter. The company's dealt with Excel Dynamic. They a Namibian independent consulting firm here that specializes in the natural resource sector. And one of those specialties, as well as dealing with the applications to the Ministry of Environment and Tourism for environmental clearance certificate, which is a crucial step for anyone who does exploration in Namibia. So we've worked with them a lot through related companies, and we have a good working relationship with them. And again, I think it shows commitment by the company, ourselves as eTech, that we want to build a sustainable business in Namibia, and work with local consultants who understand the environment and in essence are working in their backyard and move things forward. During this period, while we wait for the ECC application to be considered, we are going to be doing desktop studies on regional and historical information that is available here from the Geological Survey, as well as trying to pinpoint some areas that would allow for further ground truthing and evaluating of potential anomalies. This will be very non-invasive, and it will definitely just be early stage stuff, and we expect that to continue for the next couple of weeks and months thereafter.
Chris, let's, if you don't mind, before we get into looking at the 9th target, we should also go back just to have a little more look at in detail about the structure that is driving some of the opportunities, both near term and as we continue through these 17 targets. We can point out how target 9 relates to the structure, and some of the additional opportunities within the 17 targets that also relate to the structure, which is just one more pathfinder, which is showing us, or helping to guide us and prioritize drill targets for the entire project.
Yeah, so what you see on the screen, we've also done high resolution magnetics, a geophysical survey by Remote Exploration Services. And the interpretation from that high resolution ground magnetic survey indicates that there's a presence of a big scale northeast, east-northeast, northwest trending linear structures, faults and shears, some major and minors. And they may act as large conduits and allow for focusing of mineralization. The direct implication of the structures at the moment, we're still working to understand how they are involved in the deposition and actually securing of mineralization. But we are starting to see correlations that targets are associated obviously with high thorium, because the thorium is related to the monazite, but they also have some proximity or locality around structural areas of interest. So obviously in black on the screen, you can see the original zone deposits. They are found in an area of structural complexity. And then target 9, which we've recently announced results from, that's also found in an area where there's 2 minor and major structures meeting. So that's the area of interest from a structural point of view. And many of our targets are associated with structural areas of interest. So as we start interpreting along the regional geophysical survey that was done by the government, which is extremely high quality data, considering its definition, I'm sure we'll start seeing a lot of these structures. Geology doesn't stop at a mineral license. Geology continues. So I'm sure we'll extend a lot of this interpretation to go across it. One thing that's also quite nice on this map to highlight is you can see a main road coming through here. Now, the quality of that is, it's not a concern for us at the moment. Majority of our targets are extremely far off the main road, but also it allows us, if anything goes ever into production on this, to have easy access to a main road, and we're 100 odd kilometers away from Walvis deep sea port. So the infrastructure on this project is unbelievable. We literally service it with 2 VW Polos, and running an exploration campaign with 2 VW Polos is a testament to how easy it is to operate here.